There is no objection. Question number 5, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Police and asks, does she stand by all her statements?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, if I am truthfully and accurately quoted in full context, yes.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister, does she stand by her statement to the Law and Order Committee this morning that, quote, the government has delivered on its promise of putting more blue suits on the street, unquote? And if so, why is the Auckland District, which saw an 8.1% increase in violent crime last year, budgeted to have 32 less police by the end of next year than it did a year ago?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, talking of suits, yes, the government has delivered more police, and we look at police in terms of a national area rather than simply just one district over the other, and the Commissioner fully explained the matter of blue suits to that member this morning.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, considering that total crime in the Waikato district increased by 9.1% and violent crime by 11.8% under her government, how safe should people there feel knowing that she intends stripping 18 police from that district by the end of 2011?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, well, of course, I have no intention of stripping any police from any area, but I can say to that member that despite all his best efforts, the public confidence in police has risen to yet the highest levels. 79% of people say that they are satisfied and very satisfied with the overall performance of police, and 80% of cases the service was met or exceeded expectations. 88% of people say they're treated fairly in their dealings with police. Frankly, despite what that member says, people can feel safer under national government.
Dr. Cam Calder.
Supplementary question to the Minister. Does she stand by her statement that this government is serious about taking away the profits of crime and putting gangs out of business?
Mr. Speaker, yes, I am very pleased to advise the House that the police have now restrained $50 million in assets since the government $50 million of assets since the government passed legislation last year to make it easier for police to crack down on illegal gang profits. Since December 2009, 94 cases have been referred to the new Asset Recovery Unit, with most relating to either cannabis or methamphetamine offending. From these cases, 61 specific assets have been identified for potential confiscation, the biggest category being cash and bank accounts at $12 million, followed by $10 million of residential property. The first actual forfeiture order under the new legislation was $55,000 worth of motorcycles owned by the Killer Bees gang. Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table a graph produced by police which shows the rise in the value of assets actually seized since 2005.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, how satisfied should Wellington people feel that County Manukau is receiving 257 new police officers in the same period of time that they will lose 46 police officers, even though violent crime is increasing here in Wellington, and the Minister claims it is rapidly decreasing in Counties Manukau?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, actually, the people of Wellington should feel very satisfied that under this government we will not be taking officers out of Wellington to go and help out Counties Manukau every time there's a murder, which is what had to happen under the Operation Cavalry when that previous government was in power.
Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Point of order.
Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
And I would say this document has been tabled before a select committee, sir, just so you know. I seek leave to table the law and order, the report, vote police response to the 21011 estimates, examination of vote police supplementary written questions, question 1 and 2, where it details the cuts that have been made by this government.
This is information
that is not freely available, sir. It was tabled just this morning.
But it will be readily available. I mean,
it's not now.
This movement to table documentation that's made available to select committees, I mean, it's going to be readily available to members of the House. And I think we shouldn't be wasting time seeking leave to table that sort of documentation, because it will be readily available to all members. It doesn't need to be tabled.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
I just simply make this point. You have deemed that where a document is not readily available at the time, it is tabled, and I think you allowed one of our colleagues to table a media statement that was released but was not readily available. It had not been circulated. You deemed that if it wasn't readily available at the time of tabling, it was fine to do so. So all I ask is that you be consistent, please.
The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
I don't think we should be mixing up what are effectively reports to committees or papers that belong to a committee with the example that I was given of a newspaper article that was from a foreign print publication. In this case, sir, I think we've probably let that one go through before and shouldn't have. If a committee has not released all of the matters that pertain to a particular report of that committee, it is a circumvention of the standing orders and conventions of Parliament to come in here and seek leave to table it through a different different means. And I think I'd indicate that we'll object to this should the leave be sought.
To the point of order, sir.
Well, I'll hear the Honourable Member briefly, but that's the end of it.
Sir, I sought advice from the Clerk of the Law and Order Committee before I came into this House as to whether this document had been tabled and was available for public release. It is as I have said. Secondly, sir, I make the point again. It is not readily available to members at this point because it has not been circulated. I just simply ask for a consistent ruling, sir. But it is...
My concern is that if members seek through this device to short-circuit the proper procedures of select committees, I have some concerns about that. And there's a proper process for information provided to select committees to be released. And otherwise we'll just end up with endless time wasted in this House, members wanting to table stuff that'll be released by select committees, and that's the proper process for that to be released. Remember, members, obviously, the information is publicly available. He's perfectly free to wave it under the noses of any journalist he likes. But we're not going to waste the time of the House in tabling stuff that'll be available to the House through the proper channels available. Question number 6, Chester Borrows.